Welcome to the Music Mindset Podcast. My name is Whitney B.
I'm JP.
I'm RIEL.
And today we got a special guest.
My name is Justice Gordon.
And your Instagram name, your ats.
My ads on Instagram is Justice is your trainer. Facebook Justice Gordon. TikTok Justice is your trainer.
With a Z.
With a Z.
With a Z.
I-Z. It is I-Z.
So Justice is our trainer. And we thought that it would be good to have him on the show and kind of talk about that. I know that in the past episodes we've talked about our fitness journey. We've been on and off and on and off and then off and off and off, and now we're trying to get back on again. So we've talked a lot about like mindset and like fitness and physical fitness and how that ties into mindset. And that's why we just thought that it would be really good to have you on and talk about some of those things. So tell us about your business.
All right. Well, my company's called 23rd and Fit. It is, I actually just 2 or 3 days ago, I think it was 3 days ago, it finally became an official business. It's registered with the state of Maryland.
Yeah. LLC season. I got another call about another LLC that's been officially like put in place.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's 23rd and Fit. The name comes from when I was 17 years old, I got myself in some trouble. And it cost me a great deal of my life behind the wall. So, in short, me and some of my friends were out. We were 17 years old. We were going to a party. I was driving. I was drunk. I was driving my friend's father's pickup truck. We had 5 people in the open bed of the truck. We're on the back road. It's dark. So it just started raining. I wound up losing control of the truck. Truck started hydroplaning. Truck flipped. I'm speeding. I got 5 people in the open bed of the truck. It flipped over on this roof, slid 95 feet till it came to an end. Some activities ensued after. I wound up, again, being drunk, not in my right mind. I had drugs on me. I had a lot of things I wasn't supposed to have on me. So I panicked. I fled the scene, but to do so, I pulled somebody out of the vehicle. I pulled somebody out of their car. I literally drove the car 3 minutes. They found a car 300 feet around the corner, keys in it still running. And I went to the hospital an hour and a half later or so to go to check on my friends to see how everybody was doing. At the hospital, I was arrested. I was arrested for carjacking, for a slew of other charges. And I wound up being sentenced at 17 years old to 23 years in prison. I just came home in August. I did 18 years, day for day. Well, almost day for day. It's 17 years and 10 months, practically 18 years. And it was actually during that time, during my incarceration, that I encountered fitness. The fitness lifestyle became something I'm very passionate about, and got my personal trainer certification while I was locked up. I enjoyed training people in the yard and stuff like that, and something that I thought I would come home and pursue. So the name 23rd and Fit comes from, it's representative of an intersection, right? That particular intersection in my life, the night I got locked up, it was October 23rd, 2004. So it was that intersection that brought me to fitness, the fitness lifestyle, and it represents change. It represents second chances and second choices. And so everyone has their own journey. They come to their own intersection that, they find the algorithm, fitness or whatever it may be, whatever makes them better. Yeah. Whether it's just holistic health, wellness, whatever. Yeah. That's what 23rd represents. That's where the name comes from.
That was your crossroads. Your crossroads was at 23rd and Fit.
23rd and Fit. That's what it was. October 23rd, that was my crossroads. And it brought me to, again, the fitness lifestyle, something that I became passionate about. So it's not even like work, right? It's not like work to say if you choose a career field that you enjoy doing. When you wake up for it, it's not like going to work at all.
Yeah, right. It's just crazy because we were talking about like even just how we've even reconnected or connected because like I just happened to see your story and we were talking about it. It's like, I don't know, it's like, man, you look like a Gordon. Like I know I have to know you somehow, right? But then like, so we've known each other, we knew each other as kids, and I had no idea about your story until you just now told me, and that kind of makes sense about that disconnect. I'm like, I don't know, you're just a baby to me. That's it. Like, yeah, like that's the only image that I have have of you is as that child, like until now here you are. It's like it doesn't make sense to like not. It's just it's a big disconnect. So that's I commend you for like doing your time, coming out, and then coming out with your head clear and actually trying to do something with it. You know what I mean? Like that's not easy to do. We've seen so many people go in and out, and you know what I mean? They come to a crossroads, but they don't know how to continue with on that path that they chose at that crossroads. You know what I mean? And then they go right back in. So, I commend you for for that. You know what I mean? Like that's not easy. Studying something and sticking to it, coming home. You know what I mean?
Especially being locked up.
Yeah.
To be able to do all that and get certified.
Not to cut you off, but just talk about mindset. It has a lot to do with mindset. A lot of guys, they come home and, you know, I've heard so many people talk about before getting out, I'm never going back, I'm never coming back in. The crazy thing is, if you listen to their conversations, right, the red flags in their conversations, right, the red flags in their conversations, you can hear the things they're talking about, the things that still interest them, the things that they're still enthusiastic about, all of the wrong things. And I feel like my trouble stopped. You know, it wasn't easy. When I first went in, I got into a lot of trouble. The first 4 years of my bid, I ran wild. I caught so again, I went in with 23 years. I came home with 26. I came home with 26 years. I probably could have been home years ago. I came in, chip on my shoulder, I'm 17 years old. I was running wild. I caught new offenses. I caught 3 new offenses in prison. 3 separate new offenses in prison. And again, that was the first 4 years. It was an adjustment period. But at some point, I learned to recognize I don't know, the destructive path that I was going on, it wasn't going to get me nowhere, right? I had to learn to, recognize like my emotional responses to negative situations and choose the right responses to them. And impulse was a big thing for me. I was very impulsive, right? I was very impulsive. When I was able to recognize how impulsive I was, and again, just figure out, more positive responses to those negative situations or negative conflict or whatever, change my mindset, the way that I thought, the way that I approached conflict. That's when my trouble stopped. That's when everything stopped for me. That's when everything started going up. And that's when I started studying. Again, I learned multiple languages in prison. Got my personal trainer certification. I got a career diploma in contract and construction management. It was just up. Once I changed the way that I thought, it was up. And coming home, I think that a lot of guys that wound up going back, it has a lot to do with the mindset they come home in.
The other thing that I can add to that, I feel like I can hear from your story, just because I do have a lot of family and experience with people that have been in and out of incarceration, is that you experienced your impulsivity and your repeat offenses, I guess, while you were in there. Whereas somebody might come home, do a little bit, come home, do something stupid, go back in. Your cycle was in this, you know what I mean? It was just extended so that period. So sometimes where I see it it takes 2, 3, 4, 5 times, like 5 bids, like, oh shit, let me get my shit together. Right. Your experience just happened to be a little bit more internal in that same cycle, like where you couldn't get out of it, so you had no choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, even still, it's like you're right. Like mindset's everything. Like it's all you. It doesn't matter if it's a prison, if it's incarceration, like physical institution, or if it's your mind, if it's an addiction, if it's whatever, it's same process. It's like we all go through that cycle, and like your story can be representative of his story or like mine, you know what I mean? Like of just that journey that you've got to go through of your repeat offenses that just, you know what I mean, of getting there. So yeah, I don't know. What other languages have you learned?
Arabic, Turkish, and German.
Okay.
And Spanish.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He surprised us the other day, like with the Spanish.
Multilingual over here.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, my thing is casi bilingüe. He's like, how many was that? What did you say?
4 lenguas.
Oh my goodness.
4 languages.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
E in glass.
In Ebonics.
6.
Yeah, I know a little bit of German, tiny bit, but yeah, it's Spanish. I learned a couple years ago. It's probably one of the most valuable things I've ever done. Yeah, so like that's another, like, I commend you on that. It's probably one of the most valuable things I've ever done in my life too. It was actually a quote that I just saw the other day. It's like, if you can speak with, I share it I've been sharing it for years every time I see it. But it's, if you can speak Spanish and English, you can communicate with 80% of the planet. And I believe that 100%. Because if you really think about it, anywhere you go, one of those two languages, they're going to be able to communicate in.
Right.
And so,
I can tell you this. That's very true, especially here in America. So, in Germany, right? In Germany, they have the biggest Turkish population of any country outside of Turkey in the world. Right?
Gotcha.
There's so many Turks in Germany that most Turks, like 75, 80% of Turks, never learn German. They don't have to. It's like it's literally their community is so big there, right? Doctors' offices, banks, grocery stores. They never feel the need to even learn it. And at this point, the Latino community is so big in America that they have their stores, they have their doctors' offices, they have their, you know what I mean? So people get angry, like, oh man, you need to learn the language. It's a cosmopolitan country, right? It's a multifaceted country, you know what I mean? So I take no offense whatsoever to a person coming here and being comfortable in their, whether it's in their communities or not feeling the need to learn another language, to learn English, whatever the case may be. I guess it wouldn't hurt, but at the same time.
Yeah. I knew it was going to happen.
At the same time. But yeah, it's definitely to the point that learning Spanish, it opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
And allows you to communicate with, like you said, a lot of people you otherwise wouldn't have been able to communicate with. So
yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about what you said, because I feel like when you come, like the people that come here should make an effort, because the opportunities for them would increase if they did learn, because they come and they learn they adapt to our ways to make businesses, to make whatever, you know what I mean? So if they just were to cross that little boundary, that's the last little boundary, which is the language barrier, they'd be that much more powerful. So but from the perspective of what you were saying, getting mad about that, I don't think that there's any reason to be upset about that. But I've seen complete different worlds, just a whole disconnect just because of that. I feel like both sides should, we need to embrace that it is here, but I don't know. I've seen both worlds. It was crazy. That was a crazy experience for me to be completely immersed in Hispanic culture, but in the United States. You can definitely do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely feel like it's personal choice. I feel like it depends on, now if a person doesn't want to excel, you want to do better, whatever the case may be, then it will make a lot of sense. But I think, so I just, before coming here, we talked about, we know that the Santiago family just experienced a big loss. I just came from grandma's funeral, and it was crazy because there were so many people there who were, the service was multilingual. Some of it was in English, some of it was Spanish. I know their cousin Adair, who I know as a child. She just came from Puerto Rico. Adair don't even speak English, but she came from Puerto Rico. She sang and stuff like that. But a lot of the people there, probably half of the people there, don't know a lick of Spanish, right? But were so touched by this woman. They were so touched by her, and she never. I remember calling the house for Mikey when I was a kid, and she used to answer, and I'd be like, man, why does this woman keep answering the phone? She can't speak a lick of English, right?
Yeah,
seriously,
for real.
she couldn't speak no English, and I'd be like, man, Mikey, and she's like, Mikey no está aquí. I'm assuming that's what she was saying now, because I didn't know Spanish back then, but Mikey's not here.
Yeah.
I say his name a different way, like Miguel, Mikey, and she's like, man, you just boo for me.
Yeah.
And I called back, and she didn't answer, hello. I'm like, why she keep answering the phone, man? But she never learned English, but at the same time, her being here, I'm not sure if Nana ever worked while she was here or not, but I know that she brought her kids here to make a better life and stuff like that. And they all learned English because they all was raised in America and stuff like that. But I don't feel like it's personal choice, man. But I definitely agree with you, though. I see what you're saying. As far as if you want to excel, you do much better.
But I just feel, I just see it as a disconnect that doesn't have to be. I really think that it's we're at a world right now, just for me, I don't know. I mean, it's super split, and I know that they also speak Spanish. So for me, the world when I don't know, like when I'm in, I call it Spanish land. Like when I'm in Spanish land, I'm in Spanish land. Like it's like a complete divide. Like it's a whole different world. You know what I mean? Like if I want to go, like if he's like, oh, like you want something from like, if you want like, I don't know, if I'm making some kind of Hispanic dish or something, I got to go to LA, then I got to go here, I got to go there. And like my whole day is going to be in Spanish, but like it's a whole different world that it is. You know what I mean? It's like everything you do is completely different. Everything is like, yeah.
I gotta say, I like the immersion though. I always say that, man, people need to be more cultured, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we're similar in that we all listen to different kinds of music.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to hip hop, rock. Love reggae. I'm Jamaican. I'm not listening to bluegrass. I listen to all kinds of stuff, man. You know what I mean? So I feel like people. Another one of the reasons why I learned the languages that I did. I appreciate culture. I appreciate culture, whether it's black culture, African American culture, whether it's a Latino culture, whatever. And I think people need to be more cultured. Me, I love the immersion. I love going into a community where, I like mixing too. I like to mix in, but going into the Latino community, going amongst them, whatever. When all you hear is Spanish, whatever the case may be. Their music's playing, the food is popping. I like the immersion.
I do too.
I really enjoy the immersion.
Yeah. I do too.
Yeah.
Like that's like I love it. Like even when we went to the one thing for The Sopranos, like I'm legit the only black person there. Like I mean, you know what I mean? Like because it's
we
like
went to
what was the thing? I forget what it was. It was with Chris. I don't even know his real name.
Oh yeah, it was the Talking Sopranos podcast, like live, whatever that they had in Atlantic City.
Yeah, but we were just talking about this, like just in different cultures. It's like sometimes it's like that underlying, like if you just have a understanding of how the universe works, it doesn't matter. Like everybody just like, you know what I mean? You can have these types of conversations and there's not like, what did you say? Or like whatever, but there's like a genuine like just acceptance, or you can have those like experiences of like immersion. Like, you know what I mean? Like without it being an issue. Like to me being the only black person in that crowd was not out of the, like it was, I mean, it was out of the ordinary, I guess, like in that sense, but it is what it is. I happen to be the only black person that was interested in this. It's very super Italian culture thing. Like, and there's like an understanding of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I fit right in.
Yeah, well, obviously, because. But
So
yeah,
I was definitely in my element.
Yeah.
But I had fun. I mean, that shit was cool. You liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I really feel like I get along with all different cultures. That's why I've always I've been good at networking.
Same. I
business.
feel. Yeah. I've always been cool with all different types of cultures.
Yeah.
Asian, whatever.
Yeah, we were like literally just talking about that. Like, talking about like just in business and some of the people that I established my business with at the very beginning. Like, I don't even care actually. Pat Paddock, he's like an old, I don't know if anybody's ever heard, he's old rental property owner here in town. And he was one of the first people that I came across. And he I remember I rented to a bunch of dudes that were like, I guess, perceived hustlers, whatever. And he's like, hey guys, when you leave a message on my voicemail, he's like, make sure you speak up because black folks, they got a brogue to their voice. And my hearing aid can't pick it up. And like, I could have been like, yeah, but it could have been like one of those, like it could have been like turned into whatever, but it was just like a understanding, like, you know what, that's that fool over there. We're all just like, whatever. All right, man, we'll speak up, leave it at that, like whatever. And I don't know, but like different cultures, and I don't know. That was a cool conversation connection. Anyway, so.
Rhythm in every language.
Rhythm in every language, for real.
So with like I think that's interesting that you say you picked up when you were doing your time. That's when you picked up these languages, and that's when you started getting interested in that.
Yeah, well, I've always been interested in culture. But so again, my best friend's Puerto Rican. My best friend's 7 years old. The Santiago family is like my second family, right? It's like my second family, and so I grew up around them, and my family's Jamaican. I grew up in a mixed environment, man. I grew up, that's one of the best takeaways about this town. Like it or love it, for me, is how mixed the people are, right? I've had situations where in Winter Street Elementary School, second grade, I was the only black kid in my class. I didn't feel no kind of way about it. I wasn't made to feel no kind of way. My mom passed away when I was in, I think, the third grade, man, the whole school had substitute teachers. Like when I walked into the funeral, all my teachers were there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All my teachers were there. I've never felt no kind of way throughout elementary school and middle school. I know people have had their experience. I've actually had the whole racist experiences and stuff like that. But as a kid, I can honestly say the overwhelming majority of my experiences in this town have been they've been positive. You know what I mean? They've been positive. And so I've always been interested in culture. I've always been interested in other people's cultures and stuff like that. After Spanish, after picking it up, it kind of motivated me to want to learn other languages.
Yeah,
you know?
I picked this up.
What was
let
the
me
next
try
one
something
next?
else. Let me
What
try
was
something
the
else.
next one after Spanish?
Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah, Arabic.
How'd you go about all that? Was it just reading books, or did you have like a group of other people that was interested in?
For the most part, I bought courses. Come with CDs and stuff like that.
Okay.
With the Arabic, I've only had one. So I always had with Spanish. I always had opportunities to practice with people because there's a lot of Latinos, that were behind the wall, whatever. But with Arabic, for the most part, I had, other than the CDs and the books, I had to wing it on my own until I did come across two. One a guy from Iraq, another from he was from Kuwait. So I've had the opportunity to practice with them. I was with them for quite a bit of time, and then with German, I had it was a German woman that I was dealing with, and that kind of prompted me to want to learn.
See dick. Is that what you told her?
That kind of prompted me to want to learn German, and then Turkish was just that was a wild card. Turkish was a wild card. I think I picked up a Turkish book one time in the library, and I read about, most language books start out talking about, the culture of the people who speak that language and stuff like that. And it sounded real interesting. Like there's no gender in Turkish. Like most languages have gender in them. And so it actually made it a lot easier to learn because you ain't gotta worry about gender. You ain't gotta worry about, do I put an A at the end of it or O at the end of it? Or, you know what I mean?
That still crazy. To this day fucks me up with Spanish. I be saying L in front of the wrong shit sometimes instead of la.
Turkish has no gender. And it was interesting to me. So I ran with that one. No.
I want to learn Italian next. I think Italian or German, I feel like would be the easiest. But then I think Mandarin or Chinese would be like the next.
Yeah,
most
I wouldn't mind learning Japanese.
But it's like I'm half Thai. I feel like I have to like learn it just because it's my, like, you know what I mean? It's my blood. But I look at it like the benefit of it. Like how many Thai people? I don't know. That's like messed up. That's why my grandmother be mad.
Like when will I ever use it?
Huh?
Like when will I ever use it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's how I feel about it. Like I feel like the opportunities, even with the little bit of German that I know, the opportunities I've had them, and in Spanish, obviously, you know what I mean. Like I don't know, but I forget what I was gonna ask you something that still had to do with culture. Culture and language. Like to me, as a person who like learns it, like it's important to understand the culture in order to understand the language. Like I don't know, I think that's what like attracts you to it. It's like the culture, like really understand. Like to me, you can't really fully like learn a language until you like understand the culture, I guess. Like I don't know, and I think it's beautiful. And so anyway,
I mean, you could speak it, but it's not like you're tapped into it. Like you're just reading a book and you're just memorizing, as opposed to like tapping into it.
Yeah.
Like you said, the books that you opened up started with the culture and like the background and everything. So.
No, I agree 100% because I'm gonna tell you something. Like, you can listen to everybody likes reggaeton. Like Bad Bunny is one of the hottest things in America right now, right? Everybody loves Bad Bunny. Most people don't even understand him, but. That's because the vibe from the music, right? Sounds good. It gives that feel good music, whatever. You can dance, you can party to it, whatever. But knowing Spanish now, understanding Bad Bunny is different. It's totally different.
Yeah.
I understand Bad Bunny, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand Tego Calderon and Don Omar. Like I understand what they're saying now.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like you enjoy the music way more now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they talk about struggle, growing up in La Perla or whatever the case may be, like you understand, you feel it way more now.
In the what? Then la what?
La Perla. La Perla is a part of San Juan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like
It's a neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
La Perla.
Okay, gotcha.
It's
I know.
pretty
That's where they
rough,
from.
pretty rough neighborhood.
No, but that's what I was about
I think Bad Bunny's from La Perla too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna ask, but you just answered my question. Like, as far as like which like Hispanic culture like had most influenced you in Spanish, but you just kind of answered.
Nah, it's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my best friend Boricua, so that's always been. It's crazy because when you talk to we can't hear accent when we hear Latino people talking, right? We can't hear accent. They hear accent. They hear it. Being around them for so long, I can actually hear accent somewhat, but when I talk to someone from El Salvador or some another place, but they're like, man, you must have been around Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, man.
yeah, I
You know,
can't
they can hear
understand.
it.
I can't
You know?
understand Dominicans
Yeah.
or Puerto Ricans that well. Like, not. I definitely my
Shit, Cubans is
influences-
hard to understand for me. Cubans.
Yeah, I would say no for me.
I think it's Dominican.
Argentinians.
Yeah,
are
Dominicans.
Oh yeah.
Them are-
Argentina,
yeah.
they have a whole they some of them speak with a lisp.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
speak like Spain. The
Yeah.
people from Spain, low key.
Yeah.
Like they do that. It's like crazy and high and
Well.
like bad. Well, yeah. Like, anyway,
Argentina got all them old Nazis
Yes,
after they
indeed.
fled,
They fled to.
Germany.
With their U-boats.
Yeah.
That's where they went.
it's crazy. And so, you were talking about. So you mentioned some stuff with music and the type of music. So I'm gonna ask you the like music mindset question. What do you think that like from your childhood or whatever, like a song that like influenced your mindset? I'm not even gonna say on money, just your mindset on life. Like, what's a song for
That's
you?
a good question.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it harder for you because you came with the mindset.
Yeah.
That's so good. There's so many of them, man. Music plays such a huge part of my childhood, man. Oh wow.
I usually do like just on money, and I feel like it's easy to answer that. But you came in too hard with mindset,
Good,
culture,
yeah, that's so
Like,
good.
all that
A
stuff.
song that influenced me very much.
You can say on money if
childhood.
you want.
On money? Probably it was a song on Reasonable Doubt by Jay-Z, right? Jay-Z
Ain't
said,
that what I said?
yeah, and even now when it comes to money, man, my one of my biggest influences is Jay because the stuff he
That's who I
talking,
picked.
the stuff he talking, man. Like, mind you, it's cool. Everybody else talk about money. I be hearing dudes say all the time, like, oh yeah, I don't care about credit. That's not. That just goes to show you, man. Hov's in a whole nother mindset, man. Whole nother mindset. The song on Reasonable Doubt was the one where Jay said, he said, being broke is childish. He said, but I'm quite grown, right? So
Yeah, that's I'm quite grown. You should. He said you shouldn't lease. You should, wasn't some shit. What's the line that I always say? You shouldn't lease the car. You should buy the
forget.
whole thing just like we do or some shit
I
like that. I
forget
forgot what
now.
song.
mind you, like so that was Reasonable Doubt, but even on 444,
Yeah.
right? On our 444 album, Jay said it was a line where he said he's like y'all on the gram holding money to y'all ear. There's a disconnect. We don't call that money over here. You
And
know what I
Future
mean?
caught
Like,
mad offense to that.
Yeah, come on, man. But mind you, Jay again, his mindset is different when it comes to this. When it comes to money, you know, he was around a lot of good people. Being a Def Jam, rising up to president of the Def Jam and all of that. The people he was around, man, L.A. Reid and all of them. They
Leor.
Leor
Cohen.
Yeah,
shit.
Leor Cohen. Yeah, he absorbed everything. He just absorbed everything from him, and we watched him elevate. We watched him go up. And so I would say when it comes to the money, man, I think my biggest influence is Jay because he's not just talking about. There's another line in that song 444 where he said, "You know what's better than throwing money in a strip club? Credit."
Isn't that one of your songs?
That's a song of OJ.
In America. That's how they did it.
No, but going back to like what you said about how he absorbed all of those high power or high level execs, like what they was doing and all, he also played politics and talking about Reasonable Doubt, the second song, Politics as Usual. And I mean, he just played it, you know, he told you like back then and he just played it right and look at where he's at.
Right,
He leveraged
absolutely.
those relationships
Absolutely.
to what he needed. Like the difference to where Dame, you know, I love Dame, but you see how like a lot of people shy away to work from him.
Right.
Where with Jay, it was just like the doors were opened up.
Right.
So like a lot of that politics, just learning how to maneuver and talk to people, deal with people, all that type of shit.
Right.
Still make like money for everyone, and the right people especially.
Right.
So.
I think every single one of us had a J song as our money mindset.
Yeah, because
song at
mine
this
was the
table, at
politics
least.
as usual, or the can I live
Yeah.
off a reasonable doubt.
Well, mine technically isn't him, but the you know what I mean. Mine's for the fam, a mill. But it had everybody in it.
It was him in the mill.
It's everybody.
It's him,
Everybody in it.
Emil, Memphis
Beanie,
Bleak,
yeah.
and Beanie.
Yeah. Yeah, this time
This
is for my family. We ride or die. It's in the blood. Death now.
Ain't for the sky.
My full blow for show for dope.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know, like,
That's a good one. Yeah, but Jay's definitely, when it comes to money and music, he's probably, I'm gonna say, the biggest influence because he speaks the most to what I would like to do for my family. He always talks about leaving paintings for Blue and stuff like that, leaving paintings for, and she got her own. She got a this trust fund, this trust fund that. I'm leaving this for my kids, or more millions for my children, for their children. Like, he speaks the most of what I'm trying to do. Everybody else is talking about just throwing money away, just throwing it away.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's always
So-
been like that legacy mindset,
Right.
like legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and that's kind of like what I feel like we're all on, and that's what kind of like connects us and brings us all together. That legacy mindset, that
Spending
like,
real money on fake watches inexplicably. Ain't that what he said in that one verse, the last verse he did?
When he said, me and my niggas take real chances.
Yeah.
We take real chances. Talking about investing and stuff like that. Those are real chances, man. Those are real chances right there. Risking losing XYZ amount of money. Now sometimes it's OPM, other people's money, but at the same time you still owe that back. You know what I mean? You owe it back. So you're taking a real chance. You borrowing $1 million to go, buy something, whatever case, hoping that your little venture, it works out.
Yeah.
So
It can be a real gamble,
We taking
you know?
real chances, man.
yeah, and
The wrong
it goes
shit goes down,
either way.
you lose it all,
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
it's fucked up. But
And that's on both time and money. Like that's I always say, like sweat equity, or even with your money, OPM, other people's money. Like regardless, it's a real chance.
That's right, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, so what are you doing with your business? Like, what are your goals? What's your
My
brand?
goal, so the brand is.
I know you
so-
explained where it came from, but what you?
Right. So I actually branded it as an online personal training company, but I really wanted to do because I do one-on-one training, group training, obviously in-person training. But I know coming into a business, I think one of the mistakes that a lot of business owners, and this is in every field, make. They don't come in with a plan for expansion. They don't come in planning on expansion. They get 5 years in, and then they start putting a plan together to expand their businesses. And sometimes, I don't know. That's the recipe for disaster. Sometimes it's I'm not gonna say it's too late, but it's better to have that plan going in or plan for expansion from the get go. So for me, I branded my company as an online personal training company because I know that training people one-on-one, there's a capacity to how many people you can train at one time, but whatever building you're in, or even outside in a park, whatever. But online, it's a virtual space. There's no limit to how many people you can train online. You can train 1 million people at one time if you were somehow able to fill out a 1 million person client list, right? So that will allow me to, reach the amount of people that I really want to reach. So I branded as an online training company. I'm trying to open to using whatever resources are made available to me to make that happen. Website's still not up. Got to get the website up. Whatever. That's gonna be a huge part of the business. Because again, I do want to do the online training thing. So
what's your online, like when you say online training, what's that look like for a person? How do they experience that? Is it like a video?
So you'll have videos, you'll have workout templates, you'll have different workout programs. The same way you've seen T25 and Insanity and stuff like that. You'll have those kinds of templates or videos that you can buy on there. You can subscribe. You'll be able to subscribe for different prices, whatever the case may be. You'll have live training as well. Live training where I'll go in at certain times and you can join. I don't know if you call it a portal or whatever the case may be. You can join and participate in the classes at home, in your office, in your backyard, wherever you may be. Whatever space you prefer. The majority of business, I believe, will come from people having access to workout templates.
Who's who is your target market? Who are you trying to reach?
All right, people between 18, the target demographic, people between, men and women between the ages of 18 and I'm gonna say 45.
Okay.
That's the target demographic.
Okay.
And that's fitness initiates and fitness enthusiasts alike, both.
Streamline it even more. Give me a little bit more specific avatar, like, or demographic.
Specific age?
Age. Give me a profile. Describe.
I would say between the ages of, I'm gonna say 24 and 35.
Do you think that you're
35 or so?
24. Okay, 24, 35. What about their like background, history? Like, what kind of, like, give me a little bit of insight on this person.
It doesn't matter because honestly, I want it to be a well-rounded site. So have programs for people of all fitness levels, People that love that crazy, intense, insanity type stuff. I'll have that. People who are, again, fitness initiates, people who are just now getting into the fitness lifestyle, the fitness culture, we'll have stuff for them. Very basic and simple stuff. We'll have stuff I plan on doing programs for prenatal training programs for women that are planning on getting pregnant, or women that are already pregnant, whatever the case may be, post-pregnancy programs, CrossFit programs. Like I said, a lot of them would be in templates, meaning that the whole program will already be in video form. And by subscribing, they'll have access to a certain amount of templates or a certain kind of templates
that
they can use anytime they want. They can go to the gym, they can go on the site or with the app. If we decide to do an app, they can go on it, pull it up, they'll work out for the day or whatever, and boom, it's right there. They can set it up on a little tripod, whatever, and they can do. They have access to the exercises.
So your target person is somebody who is, you said 20, I forget what the age,
24 to 35.
24 to 35, and but it needs they're looking for an easy way or
a more convenient way, yes,
to access the
Not
workout.
everybody wants to go to the gym.
Yeah.
For one, there's unfortunately, I'll say, they hate me for this, Planet Fitness, and all them may hate me for it, but gym culture is toxic in America. I can't speak for other countries, but it's toxic. It's toxic. You have people who pull their phones out because they see somebody who's overweight or not doing exercise properly, whatever the case may be. They'll film and put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
With some smiley face emojis or laughing emojis, whatever. So we have a very toxic culture, gym culture in America, and a lot of people do not want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They rather do it at home or do it, again, in a space they prefer, where they feel comfortable at. You know what I mean? So,
and I think that's healthy to encourage anyway, even if it is like that. Even because I don't know, I feel like the gym culture that I've seen the past couple years now has actually been a lot kinder than it was when I was younger. Like I feel like there's a lot more encouragement. If I'm doing something wrong, we've been corrected or like just encouraged. Like and that's just the last 2 years that I've done stuff in and out. But I feel like there's a lot of us that just can't be in those environments, whether people are nice or not. Like there's a lot of people that struggle with like going and stepping inside of a building or a place that's unfamiliar. So like you offering a service or something like that, that's able to allow people to get that full experience without having to step foot out of their home is great. My immediate idea went to the metaverse shit. Like you do a group class in the park or whatever, recreate that, but like have that experience. Like somebody who can't come out of their home, they get to go into the metaverse and actually work out in the park and feel like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that. That's where my mind went. But anyway, sorry, that was enough of business class. Startup 101. But no, yeah, I love hearing your perspectives and your ideas like on your business and what you're doing. Like you're doing all the right things and all like, especially for just stepping out of prison. Like what were the resources that you looked up like when you were in prison? Like
so some of the resources, obviously Small Business Administration, unfortunately, people who are on parole or probation. While you're on parole or probation, you can't get SBA loans. They don't give SBA loans to people while they're on parole or probation, unfortunately. It doesn't prevent you from getting loans or grants, whatever, from private institutions and stuff like that, or other government institutions. But the SBA in particular, which is a very valuable resource, they don't do it. So some of the other resources I looked at were the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, which, again, is a SBA branch or affiliate, I wouldn't use them or deal with them on the basis of a grant or because I think they have the same rules as the SBA, but they do provide a lot of free business resources, access to marketing analysts. SBDCs will give you office space that you can work out of to help build your team or stuff, build your business, whatever the case may be.
And this is all while you were in prison. You had access to this, or was this after?
This is after.
Okay, so that's what I'm like. While you were in there, what got you to get to thinking about, or like what resources? Because you said you were studying all kinds of things while you were there.
Yeah, a lot. I would say, I just knew that a lot of the stuff that I read, it kept mentioning, resources. It kept mentioning, free business resources. A lot of the Start Your Own Business Bible by Entrepreneur Press and every other business book that I've ever read, there's somewhere in the book that talks about accessing free business resources. The SBA was always mentioned. The SBDC was always mentioned. I remember reading or watching a show one time. It was like 90 Day Millionaire or something like that, 60 Day, 90 Day Millionaire or something on Discovery Channel. And after having read about the SBDC, this guy, I watched him on the show go to SBDC. He went in there and he showed him a business plan. They gave him an office space to help build his business from, and I actually was able to see it in real time. The things that I had read about, like this is a real thing. And so, yeah, I just from reading and learning that there were those resources were out there, knowing that I was coming home, I wasn't really having no handouts, whatever the case may be. I knew that that was something that I wanted to make use of. I knew that it would be a valuable stepping stone going forward, trying to get my business off the ground. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's what I wanted to get out of you. Like, I'm glad that you said that, because the answer is always right in front of your face. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were reading that and you saw where it said free business resources. The resources are out there. It's just for some of us, we got to work a little harder to get them, to find them. We got to read that fine print at the bottom that says, this is where we got this information. So this is where you're going to have to go if you ain't got the money to, you know what I mean? To like pay this person to do it. So, yeah, like I don't know, I'm gonna keep saying I commend you. Like I love seeing it. Like I love because this is the kind of stuff that I feel like I've been saying for years, and I've been like just trying to yell at everybody, and then like it just like shut up, Whitney. And it's not really shut up, Whitney, but you know what I mean. It's just there's a disconnect, maybe for you, but yeah, like just disconnect, and so it's like cool seeing now like this things come together for people, and everybody really like. I don't know, like all these LLCs getting put together, and I didn't do it for anybody. That's all I've been saying. It's like, I want to see everybody do it, but I don't want to be the one to do it. And then finally, like within a couple day period, it's like, oh, hey, I got my LLC. Oh, look, I got my LLC. Oh yeah, we just like locked in our LLC. Like that just made my heart so fucking warm. You have no idea. But yeah. So what about, what questions do you have, I guess, as like for or do you guys have any questions? I'm sorry, because I feel like we've been talking. Do you, for like your business or like anything, like what questions do you have as far as next steps for you?
The whole concept of content creation for social media, obviously I'm new to it. When I went in 18 years ago, YouTube didn't exist. Yeah. Facebook didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. Twitter didn't exist. Snapchat didn't exist. They were non-existent. They weren't here. It was MySpace, right? So the whole content wave, all of that took off while I was gone. And that evolves all the time, right? They're always coming out with new stuff on these different social media platforms. So I'm new to that. So that's definitely something that I will welcome, right? Gladly welcome any kind of help or resources that can be made available to me in doing that. Because I do know that when it comes to fitness, it's a huge part of fitness nowadays. Any business nowadays, but fitness specifically, because there's so much content being created. I know that one of the things that I have learned is that audiences that you engage, you may put some content out that, you know, sparks a fire and grabs people's attention, but the way social media works, you have to be consistent with your content creation. Otherwise, people get bored, they're gonna go find it somewhere else. So that's something that I would definitely, again, welcome the help on. Yeah.
So, I think that is definitely, you're right on point. Everybody, I feel like that's, in order to, I said it the last couple times, but in order to really make it, like, you've really got to get on that content creation. You have to know what you're trying to do, and you have to know who you're trying to reach. That's where I was like asking you, like, well, who are you really trying to, like, you know what I mean, reach or whatever? Because when you keep it super broad and you say 18 to 44, but the 18-year-olds on Snapchat and the 44-year-olds on Facebook, but you post on Instagram, you're missing your mark every time.
Right.
So I like it, the better you know what you're trying to do, who you're trying to reach, the easier it is, because it's easy for you to be authentic in what you're making, and then it's easy to be authentic in where you're delivering it and who you're, because we get overwhelmed, and I'm saying this from like personal experience. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to get this content out here, I got to do that. But it's like, no, who am I trying to reach, and where do they hang out at? You know what I mean? Like, where are they at? How can I like get there and be there consistently? How can I show up and make the content that's easy for me, right? And then do that. And I have a million ideas for you, a million ideas. Like, one of them was, which literally what you just said. Like, I'm telling you literally what you just said, and then combined with your push-up video that you did, that crazy ass shit that you were doing. That shit was nuts, right? But side by side, you telling your story, and you put your that crazy push-up video while you're talking about it with some bomb song. Right. That is the ultimate content. You're teaching somebody something, you're talking some real shit, you're showing them a process, you're engaging them through sound, and you're doing it in a very short period of time. That is content creation these days. As much as, again, we're fighting it, it's, you got to take those elements and throw them together. You got to get, like, you have to get all of that in that short period, but that's those elements, you got them right there. Right. If y'all see this video that he did, y'all be like,
fucking arms.
Yeah, like he's like fucking
like springs and shit,
like some kind of creature. So I don't even know. Like, y'all got to get him in the horror film. Like, get him to do some kind of thing with a costume on. I'm telling you, that shit look crazy. Wow. I don't even know how you were doing all that, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about anything like that, but whatever, any questions you'd ever have as far as business. But I love that you're very, like, you're aware of it, and it's like super powerful to realize, like, damn, like, you really did just miss like probably the most important like period of our lives, like to be able to see that transition of like media and all that stuff. But you ain't miss a beat. Because throughout all that time, you're still way further ahead than a lot of people that are right now struggling with content. Like, you missed all that years, but you're like, nah, I know I got to be on all of these things somehow.
Right.
So, yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But, you got any questions?
I was just going to ask, like, you mentioned everything being new to you, like the whole social media, you just kind of coming into it. Is there any, like, creator in your field that you've seen that you're like, you know, this is kind of what I want to model myself after?
I've seen a couple actually. Once so I definitely enjoy doing the whole the workout video thing, like the push-up thing you were talking about. That's cool. There's another guy over on TikTok named it's Team Mo Fitness. Like, all of his videos are just educational videos. And I told y'all, you know, when we first got together, that the most important part of training for me, the part that I enjoy the most, is the educational process. Yeah. It's not just the instructive process. Hey, you know, put this up, put that down, do it this way. Oh, now let me correct your form. The most important, or the part that I enjoy the most, is the educational part of it. And like, again, Team Mo Fitness. That's what they It's just one dude, but he all of his videos, educational videos. He don't really have any videos doing crazy workouts, anything like that. People, I know that, you know, when you create value for people, when people benefit from the content that you're creating. There's some actual benefits. One thing,
Yeah.
being entertained is one thing. But when people actually benefit from the content that you're creating, I know that's way more, it's way more impactful, and you benefit more from it. And I noticed that because when I came across Team Mo Fitness, I had just watched another creator on TikTok who he was making these crazy videos, these crazy workouts.
Okay.
And he had, I don't know, it was under 1 million followers. I go to Team Mo Fitness, and this dude ain't doing nothing but kicking knowledge. He ain't doing nothing but kicking knowledge, sitting in front of a camera and giving tips, dieting tips, dieting advice. I had like 3-4 million followers or something like that. You know what I mean? So again, being entertained is one thing. When people actually benefit from the content that you're creating, when they find some value in it, right?
Yeah.
They see their bodies changing because they're taking your advice. I don't know. I think people stay engaged more. They stay engaged more.
Yeah.
Very true. It's exactly what we say with the content creation too, just building having the entertainment side of it, but also having the educational. Like that's really the key of bringing people in and building that community. So that's dope.
Yeah,
Dope.
and I think that the hat trick part of it is the showing the process too, or showing that entertainment value. Like that's what I was saying. Like if you put what you were just saying, you're offering value or inspiration and value in your story, but then also you're showing like the entertainment and the process and proof of process with the push-up video. But at the same time, if you were doing like education, you did that, and you educate somebody on what they could do, but you're still inspiring and offering a value always. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you have a lot of different dynamics that you'll be able to really do it. But if you do it and be consistent with it, and that's been our issue, like with mine anyway, like with the consistency of it, of just putting it out there. But yeah, just do it. Be like Nikki.
Yeah, and if you like put videos out of you training us, you can even like tap into the comedic side of things too, because that's just ridiculous.
It's definitely comical at times.
Yeah.
It's definitely comical at times. Man.
And I don't care.
Comedic TikTok and shit.
Noises you make when doing certain stretches.
It's
That's what I'm
just
saying.
I ain't doing
Because I'm not fucking just flexible at all, and that should just be killing me. Some of them.
Yeah, no, and that's I guess I guess as a what's that called? Like a get it out, Whitney. Not a review, like to attest to like your services and whatnot. So we've worked with a bunch of different trainers, and I've done it in the past. Again, like off on off on. But one thing we will say is, we kind of took some notes about things that we've experienced in the past. And I know that things that we've felt like naturally in our bodies that we should work with first, or we should have some more emphasis on, you actually incorporated. We've almost always had to ask for those things. We've almost always had to like the core or abs. I know it's one of those things that I don't ever really want to do, but it's very vital that I do it because of my back issues and all of everything, right?
Uh-huh.
So, and I'm not trashing any trainer. I'm just saying like that for us, it's almost always like, oh, you do your dirty 30 after, or you do this or whatever it is your finisher, which is cool. I'm not saying about when you incorporate it. It's just that we've always had to, I felt like we've had to like ask, or it's always been like an add-on instead of like a core focus to kind of build. And also the other part was just like with the weights. Me as a female, I've know a lot of trainers. I could get away with so much because I'm a female, nobody will ask me to do anything, right? But him and I will be playing around, but he knows if he's watching me, he's almost always the one like, nah, she's got to go up or blah, blah, blah. But you were like, no, hold on a second. Like, I ain't want to, but like, you played or you played.
She just throwing them shits around. Like, I'm saying, like, nah.
Yeah, you playing right now.
She might need them 15s, I
Go get them
think.
10s. I don't know about the 15s.
Let's go with the baby bells, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, just being that honest, like, and having that awareness and pushing in that way, like not being afraid. I've seen that on both ends. I don't know if it's fear or just their process, but I do like that about the way that you train, that you're not afraid to just be like, nah, hold on, stop playing. Like,
Yeah, you played.
One thing I noticed with you that I haven't seen with any other trainer, whether it be like someone we knew personal or someone like a professional real trainer, is like just how adamant you are about like the stretching and all, and the fact that we do it before and after. I always heard like the before, but like never really the after, or like the emphasis that you put on it, and I like that. I think that's cool.
The after is one of the things that's going to help with muscle soreness, right? So the soreness that you feel after exercising, right? They call it acute muscle soreness, or delayed onset muscle soreness, or post-exercise muscle soreness. The pain you feel sometimes while exercising is called acute muscle soreness. You normally feel it, from the time of working out up to 12 hours after exercising. The pain that normally sets in 12 to 48 hours after exercising, it's called delayed onset muscle soreness. The thing is, stretching after exercising actually helps get some of the waste products that your body created while working out, it helps push them out. So it actually can lessen the amount of pain or soreness that you actually feel the next day. So it helps a lot with that. And the muscles are still warm. So as I told you, don't want to stretch cold muscles.
Yeah.
You get a better range of motion with your body being warmed up after the exercise. So
yeah, that makes sense, because I really don't feel as like sore or stiff or whatever like after like the next day or whatever, normally, like when we used to work out with the past trainers, how especially in the beginning, there'd be some days I couldn't move. I remember one episode I think we were talking about it, because it like just hurt just to position myself and shit. But I really feel like it's like I could feel a little bit, but I think the stretching probably is what's helping with that, where I don't feel as bad.
Yeah, I've read, either read or heard somewhere, like David Goggins. I'm sure you know who that is.
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, you definitely have to look. He's a Navy SEAL. Amazing story. Have you heard of David?
David Goggins.
Yeah.
I might have.
I won't even ruin it for you.
Like the toughest man on earth.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he's always done some crazy,
he does crazy marathons.
His emphasis is on stretching. I want to say they said like up to like 4 hours a day he spends stretching, but he does, he pushes his body to do some crazy, crazy
Mr. Fantastic
things.
For real.
Yeah, like he does some like crazy things. Like you'd have to like read or watch. What is the book? Gosh, I can't think of it. Because it was Jesse Itzler is how I watched Jesse Itzler at a conference one time, and he like invited him to come to his house because he was like, yeah, this dude like ran this marathon and like fucking completed it. It's like, it's something wild. I forget, like I forget exactly what it was.
Right.
But anyway, so he did that, and like so he could write this book. I don't know. Like I'm probably fucking up the story completely, but it's very interesting, and now I'm gonna have to go watch it and look for it again. Yeah, I want to say it's like Can't Touch Me or Can't something, I forget.
MC Hammer story.
And then you just wrote it anyway. But I don't know. So what do you got going on? What are you promoting? I know you have like a group training sometime soon.
Yeah. So fitness at the fairgrounds, man. I want to do a group training at the fairgrounds. It's starting to get cold, so I definitely want to get it done or get it started before it gets really cold outside. It being cold outside, as long as there's not snow or ice on the ground, doesn't really stop anything. If you dress properly, you can still get it in outside. I got that. I'm working on, eventually I'd like to have a commercial space to train out of. It don't have to be nothing crazy or, elaborate or, anything like that. Just enough space to get a group in.
Yeah, I think we were talking about an opportunity we might have with somebody that wants to or likes to do those classes, and they actually have the space. They just, I don't know. Like I already planted the seed, but I'll talk to you about it. But I think that might be, I think that's a good, I would think that would be a good opportunity for you to just rent some spaces in your offices, go to some corporate offices stuff anyway. Sorry. But yeah, so you got the fairgrounds training coming up next, and then you're working on some commercial spaces. And, all right, what's the next date for your fairgrounds Do you have a training scheduled
Actually,
yet?
nah, I don't have a
The next-
because I wanted to wait to see how many people I could actually
Like get
booked up first. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you're interested in training at the fairgrounds, or even if you can do an indoor training, group training, you're doing $10 a session.
$10 a session. Yeah.
$10 a session. And I think that's a super easy way. I love group trainings because it's affordable and it keeps everybody motivated. You allow yourself to have like somebody starting to finish with, to give yourself some accountability partners and whatnot. So if you guys are interested, hit Justice up at Justice is your trainer with a Z on all platforms, or Justice Gordon on Facebook. So anybody got anything else? And we oh man, ain't nobody sing this time. Oh well.
No, this is a fitness episode.
This is a fitness. All right, so you better drop down and give me 20.
Can you?
Hell no. I might be able to do about 4 or 5. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see y'all next time.
Peace.